the early 20th century, a small mining town in Pennsylvania called Dudley was booming with activity. But by 1910, the entire town disappeared overnight, its residents, their belongings, even livestock, all gone. Investigators initially suspected a mass exodus caused by debt or environmental issues, but the truth was far darker. People living in nearby towns claimed they heard blood-curdling screams coming from the direction of Dudley the night the town vanished. Years later, hikers stumbled upon remnants of Dudley deep in the forest. They found eerie carvings on the trees, depicting strange symbols that had no clear origin. The strangest discovery was a row of 12 unmarked graves hidden in a clearing, with soil that looked freshly disturbed even after decades. Paranormal researchers believe the town may have been sacrificed in a dark ritual, leaving behind a malevolent force. Visitors to the area report the feeling of being watched, and some claim to hear ghostly voices whispering in an unknown language. The I-45 highway in Texas is infamous, not just for its crime rate but for its eerie supernatural reputation. Between Houston and Galveston lies what locals call the Texas Killing Fields, an area where over 30 bodies of missing people were found from the 1970s onward. But it's not just the brutal crimes that haunt the area. Truckers and late-night drivers have reported seeing shadowy figures dart across the highway. One truck driver, Mark, recalled slamming on his brakes when a woman in a blood-soaked dress appeared in the middle of the road. When he got out to check, she was gone, but her wet footprints trailed back toward the nearby fields. Others have seen shadow people running alongside their vehicles, disappearing into thin air. Paranormal investigators believe the residual energy of the unsolved murders fuels these apparitions, and the spirits are trapped, unable to find peace. The Elms Hotel in Excelsior Springs, Missouri, has a history of luxury and death. Built in 1912, it catered to wealthy guests who came for the healing mineral springs. But during Prohibition, the hotel turned into a speakeasy, and criminal activity was rampant. Several mob hits allegedly took place within its walls, and some believe the victims never left. Guests frequently report seeing a man in a pinstripe suit smoking a cigar in the lobby. When approached, he vanishes. A hotel worker once saw a maid cleaning a room late at night, only to realize the uniform matched those worn in the 1920s. The most terrifying story involves the basement, where mobsters allegedly tortured their enemies. A construction worker renovating the area claimed he felt hands pushing him toward an exposed pit, hearing a gravelly voice say, "Join us." Visitors today refuse to go near the basement alone, citing cold spots and whispers that seem to come from the walls. In the 1980s, a painting called The Crying Boy became infamous across the UK. It depicted a young boy with tears streaming down his face. The painting became a popular piece of decor, but soon, bizarre incidents began to occur. Homes with the painting often caught fire, and while everything else in the house was reduced to ash, the painting remained untouched. A firefighter named Ron described a case where a house burned down entirely, leaving only the painting intact on the wall. More than 50 similar incidents were reported, leading newspapers to dub it the cursed painting. Some owners tried to destroy it, but it always reappeared either in the same house or in another nearby. Paranormal experts suggest the painting carries the spirit of the boy, whose tragic death left him attached to the artwork. To this day, it's believed that owning the painting invites misfortune into your life. Hawaiian folklore tells of the night marchers, ghostly warriors doomed to march across the islands for eternity. They appear on sacred nights, often as a line of torches moving through the darkness, accompanied by the sound of drums and chanting. Locals say if you hear their procession, you must lie face down and avoid looking at them, or you'll be cursed. A tourist couple staying near Waipio Valley ignored warnings about the night marchers and decided to explore the area at night. Around midnight, they heard distant chanting and saw flickering lights moving toward them. They initially thought it was a festival but soon realized the figures were semi-transparent, wearing ancient Hawaiian armor. One of the tourists panicked and ran, only to collapse moments later, claiming he felt an intense heat and pressure on his chest. Locals believe he crossed into the night marcher's path, narrowly escaping death. Deep in the woods of North Carolina lies a barren circle of land called the Devil's Tramping Ground. For over a century, nothing has grown there, and attempts to plant seeds have always failed. Locals believe it's a place where the devil himself walks in circles, plotting his next move. In 2020, a group of college students decided to camp there, hoping to debunk the legend. They set up cameras and stayed awake to document the night. Around 3 a.m., their campfire suddenly extinguished, and the air grew icy cold. One of the cameras captured a faint figure walking in the circle, glowing with an otherworldly red hue. The students fled, leaving behind their gear. When they returned the next morning, all their belongings had been scattered outside the circle, and their tent was shredded. Paranormal investigators who visited the site later reported a malevolent energy that left even seasoned ghost hunters terrified.